Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Monday, July 7th. I hope you had a great Independence Day weekend. Maybe you got some rest. Maybe you took some time off. Fantastic. If not, and you're just plunging into yet another week, sorry about that, gang. Do take those vacations. They're very important. If you can get one, do it. And if you have a financial issue, maybe you were away and you had a little moment, or you were sitting in terrible traffic, like coming home from a resort area, and you said, oh, all I can think about is my money. And I would encourage you to not do that all by yourself, to allow us to help take some of that burden off of you. And if that's you, or you just need a little guidance, mentoring, coaching even, if that's you, get in touch with us. Go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. If you'd like to join us on the air, just check the box. Mark will do everything else because he is just the best. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Comes out every Friday. Doing so, you'll also get a little blog post every week. And, you just get a little bit more love of everything financial and how it pertains to you and your life. So you should check that out. Again, all of our content lives at that website address, jillonmoney.com. Today, we are talking to Chris, who joins us from Arizona. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm well, Jill. Thank you.
What's going on? How can I help you out?
Well, I just really kind of wanted to touch in and see if we're on the right track. We're 37 years old, active duty military. We move around every 2 to 3 years. We're a one income household right now. And we've got 2 young kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I just kind of wanted to see if we're on the right track or if there's anything smarter that we could be doing.
First of all, thank you for serving. Do you think that's kind of weird when people say that, or do you like it? I just always, some people are like, oh my God, like another idiot who's just thanking me. They don't know anything about what I do. Do you like it or do you not like it?
No, it's great. I in all of us, we appreciate it, and we'll say the same things to each other.
Okay, well, good. Thank goodness I said the right thing. You're in Arizona now, and you move every couple of years. So, what does that do to your mindset? Like, how do you manage that? I'm sort of intrigued by the moving around. They always say, like, when people say, like, what are the stressful things that people go through? It's sort of like birth, death, illness, moving. So, how is that moving? How is that?
Well, it's great. It is certainly a mindset that you get used to. We've had friends who moved for the first time ever and said it was the most stressful thing ever. So I hear what they're saying, but I think at some point you get used to it. And in truth, every couple of years, if we're someplace for 2 years, we start to get a little antsy and ready to move on to see something else. So we're very fortunate. We've been overseas quite a bit. We've lived in Italy and England and New York, Arizona, Kansas, and then most recently we've actually only been in Arizona for about a month. We moved here from Alaska. We were up there for 3 years. So
oh my God, that's amazing. Where has been your favorite place to live so far?
Either upstate New York, it is beautiful up there, or probably Savannah, Georgia. Savannah is one of the greatest places, in our opinion, in the country.
Wow. A big plug for Savannah and upstate New York. Mark, how about that? Compared to Italy, he's going to pick upstate New York. It's incredible. I love it. Okay. So, Chris, let's talk a little bit about what's going on for you guys. So, as active duty military, how much are you earning right now?
About 100. I think this past year I made 110,000.
Okay.
So I've been in for 15 years. We got about 5 years until we're looking at a potential military retirement. Obviously, we're years away from a regular retirement.
And in 5 years, what would that military retirement pay in terms of a pension benefit?
Average, it would probably be around 70,000 a year.
Okay. But you're not going to say, oh, I'm going to call it quits. You're very young and you'd be in your 40s. You would do something else after that. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the money that you have saved so far, both in terms of the addition to the pension and also whether or not you've saved money in excess of just retirement, other ways.
Yeah. So we have right now about 16,000 just in emergency savings. It's in a high yield account. With American Express. And then we've got about 7,500 just in kind of regular savings account savings. Mm-hmm. We also, in addition to the retirement, so we've been maxing out for both me and my wife our Roth IRAs. So in mine, we have 173,000, and then my wife's is 102,000. And then we also contribute to the Roth TSP program, like for DoD employees.
Yep.
And we've got just over 30,000 in that. And then we just keep a little bit in some brokerage accounts, one with Fidelity that's kind of more retirement focused with 10,000 in that.
Okay. And for the kids, you get one GI Bill in terms of college. Is there any other money that you've socked away for them? I know that at 3 years old, you can tell they're scholars.
We are trying to set some aside. So we have 529s open right now with the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. The 5-year-old has 11,000 in it, and my 3-year-old has 6,000. We just contribute a small amount every month to that, about $50 a month. But then if the kids get money for their birthday or Christmas or whatever, we put it into the 529.
Okay. But that's great. How's your cash flow doing all this? You've accumulated a lot of assets. Are there any other assets that you are not telling us about yet? Any rental property or anything like that?
No, we don't own any houses. We don't own any rental properties. And that's one of the things I'll be curious to talk about. Our cash flow is good. Our monthly expenses are probably about $3,000 a month. We don't really have any debt except for 2 cars that we had to get when we moved back from England in 2021 at the world's worst time to buy 2 cars. So our only debt is really just about $1,000 a month in car payments, and then everything else that's kind of it. Now we don't eat out much, so we do have a pretty high grocery bill, about $1,000 a month. But I'm going to say our monthly expenses are about $3,000 a month, and then we put quite a bit into just savings, about $500 a month, in addition to just all the retirement focused stuff. So we don't really have any issues.
That's great. Do you have some place in mind that, again, it's 5 years from now, 5, 6, 7 years from now? Do you have an idea like, you know what, we're going to move back to Savannah? Is that something that you kind of push into like the dream category, or like, oh, we're going to make that a reality?
I think actually we haven't really settled. We're not ready to settle down yet. We still like moving and seeing other parts of the country and the world. If I had to get my dream way, it would probably be in the Northeast, like either Vermont, New Hampshire, Northern New York. My wife is more in the Southeast, that kind of coastal Georgia area. So we really don't know, and that's been one of the reasons that we haven't wanted to purchase yet. We've been hesitant, and for one reason, because we live overseas so much, we haven't really wanted to maintain, have a house and then have to worry about it or the upkeep or anything like that as a rental property. And then additionally, we have a lot of friends who own 1, 2, maybe even 3 houses our age. And when you talk to them, you start to feel kind of behind. But then with those good friends that you're open to talking about money with, when you ask them what their real revenue is after, management fees and all that, and it seems like they are often making $200 to $300 a month. So in that sense, it kind of isn't worth it to us yet, but maybe that's a naive view.
Well, I mean, look, it totally depends. Sometimes the income is not the driving force. It may have been like, if you're lucky enough, I have a friend whose son in the military, and he happened to buy. He was he's an Air Force guy, so he's up in Syracuse, New York. Okay, and he happened to stumble upon a cheap house at the beginning of COVID for a low mortgage interest rate. So he stumbles onto it. When he goes to his next post, it's going to be a good rental property because he's into it so cheap. The question of whether like you should just do it for the sake of doing it, I don't think so. I agree. I tend to be more in your camp, which is I'm not dying to be a remote landlord. It's not going to be huge money. Just think about that prices overall are up about, 45% in 5 years. Mortgage rates are high. I wouldn't really be jumping in unless you felt compelled. If you said to me, the reason why I asked that sort of is that the dream thing. If all of a sudden you guys said to each other, like, you know what, we're both all in. We're going to Vermont, New Hampshire, Northeast. We know we want to be there. You could sort of keep an eye out and we could have almost like a sinking fund getting ready to buy something when you were ready. But since there's not consensus yet, I don't think I would do that. You're doing an incredible job of saving. I mean, you have a lot of money that you have accumulated in those Roth IRAs. I wouldn't necessarily jump into the I must buy real estate. In many respects, just given your life and where you're all, you're all over the world. It seems like you're in a wonderful place and you have a very low cost of living. I mean, look, it's probably going to be that in the future, wherever you land in 5 years, it's not going to be $3,000 a month of expenses. You're going to have a different kind of life, right?
Right.
And you're either going to have to rent something that is probably more expensive or maybe you'll buy. But for right now, I think you're doing an incredible job. It's like inspiring, frankly.
Oh,
wow. Yeah. I mean, Mark, I'm just going to bring you on the mic. Do you not agree with this? Like this guy is making $110,000. Look at all the money they've saved. The two of them, they're 37 years old. They got 2 kids.
No, they're 100% on track. I know in his email, he says, it's hard to believe, it's hard to see how 300,000 that they have now will turn into, 2 million in 30 plus years. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're saving 14.5% to retirement every year. If you keep doing that in 30 years, that 300,000, it'll be between $2.5 to $3 million, no doubt. Plus you have a $70,000 a year pension. I mean, all good.
I know it is hard, Chris, to think about that because it's really hard to see in real time today how compounding works, but it really is incredible, which is why, because you started early and you really were not spending a ton of money. This is like knock it out of the park kind of numbers to me. And maybe you've listened to the podcast and maybe you've heard people come on. I've got $5 million. I got this, but we don't talk to as many people who are 37 years old and in this situation. Often when we're talking to a 37 or 40-year-old, what's happening is they're telling us like, I've saved $1 million and I spend $12,000 a month. That's a huge difference. It really is. So I think you're in such good shape. As part of being active duty military, you have to have your estate planning done. Is that right? Don't you have to have a will?
We don't have to, but it is highly encouraged.
And we
can do it for free on the installation.
And you have that. Great. And what about life insurance? Since you are the primary wage earner, do you have any extra life insurance than beyond what is provided to you by the military?
Yes, we do. We have a small policy with USAA that's $100,000 a year. So in total, I think my benefit to my wife is like $500,000, something like that.
If you could bump it up a little bit, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Just because you have those 2 little kids and who knows what's going to happen. So maybe $750. If you could add a little extra coverage, that would be good.
Okay,
Chris, if you were not doing what you do right now, if you were not in the military, what is the job that you think you might be interested in? Like in 5 years, I'm sort of dying to know what the next chapter looks like.
Well, I love boats, so I'd probably love to be around boats. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe a marine diesel mechanic or something.
Oh, okay.
Low stress and by the water.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Does that mean you're in the naval part of the armed forces?
No, I'm absolutely not. And I'm
not in Arizona.
I was going to say, how would you do that? I was like, what's happening? What part of the military do you think Mark could be in? What do you think he could do in the military?
Hey, we're looking for the right people anywhere. You could be a great finance officer.
Oh, Mark, look at you.
I was very, very close. I mean, coming out of high school, I was, all I had to do was sign the papers. I had several meetings with the recruiter. I was just like probably days away from joining the Air Force.
Really? I didn't know that, Mark.
And then some little bell inside of me went off.
And you said, wait a minute, that seems really hard.
I was on my way. I think it's Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. I was like on my way there. And then I decided at the last second, no, I'm not doing this.
Did you get scared, Mark, or did you just say like it's too much of a commitment? It's very young to have to make that commitment. Obviously.
Yeah, I think I was probably doing it for the wrong reasons. I wanted to get out of. Speaking of upstate New York, Chris, I wanted to get out of upstate New York and just kind of see something else, but it wasn't a good enough reason for me to do it.
Chris and Mark, I know it would not be a shock for you to learn that there was not even a whisper of a thought that I could ever do anything in the military, mostly because when people tell me to do things, I usually ask a question like this, but why? That is not the right mindset for the military, although I respect you all. And again, just want to thank you again for serving, because I think that is incredibly important. We take it very seriously. So Chris, we are going to send you off with a military salute of some sort, which would be weird, but you guys have done a terrific job. And if you need anything else in the future, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We're hoping that your next posting will be somewhere fabulous. He's going to be like in somewhere around the world and give us a holler, like, hey, I'm in Antarctica, which would be amazing because I don't think we had a caller from Antarctica, but keep in touch with us and thank you. And if you have anything else that you need, let us know. And, gang, if you are listening to these conversations and it's maybe spurring a question in yourself, then why don't you get in touch with us? Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Mark, who I just learned something new about. It's like being with somebody, dating somebody for 15 years and learning a new little nugget of information. Who knew that Mark wanted to maybe go to the military? I certainly didn't. Anyway, give us a holler at whatever is going on. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a rating and review. And of course, do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.